Welcome. Second update today because Bitcoin and Ethereum are not correcting. We are actually seeing a move to the upside. And I got so many very friendly people who were saying, hey, it's pumping and not correcting. Yeah, well, I have discussed the levels that we should be watching. And those critical levels we're actually holding, through which a retest on the other side could be happening. So today we're discussing Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we're also going to include an altcoin, which is Orion, as that one just broke out heavily and is showing an expression of FOMO and where you should be entering rather than focusing on a current strategy that you should be developing. As the euphoria is increasing heavily, people are interested in getting into Bitcoin and Ethereum at this stage, through which they are still in a resistance zone. And you should be relatively cautious until they flip that level for support, and then you could be starting a trade. But at this stage, trading wise, it's not an entry point. But before that, do not forget to subscribe beneath, like this YouTube update, and check out my platform that is in the description beneath, where you can trade alongside me, get educational information as well, and additional trade IDs, and we have been doing really well. Plus, our team is expanding, and we are standing by to assist you in the waves of crypto. So let's get to the charts. And the first one I've got up here is Ethereum, which is doing pretty much fine. We discussed the levels that we should be holding in order to avoid a breakdown. So we discussed this entire zone around 2900 as a potential level that we should be holding, and it gave a beautiful retest. Through that perspective, we can say that we are currently still trending up on the 3-hour time frame. However, we've also seen it on the downwards trend that we made. The critical one to break through was that level at 29.75, through which Ethereum broke, and you can see that it started to accelerate and went all the way towards the next resistance zone. So it's usually in trading, it's if then this, if then that. If you are scalping, you're looking for this entry point here. If you're looking for a swing trade, Ethereum is not on an entry point. You're looking at higher time frames or towards other confirmations. If you're day trading, probably you've hit your TP right now and you're chilling out and maybe considering a small short. If you're investing, then you're looking at the DCA strategy and not really looking at current value of the price of Ethereum. And you're just going to increase your DCA when the price drops down a little bit more. So all different strategies. And at this stage, we can see that if we zoom out with Ethereum right now, it is still facing higher time frame resistance, in which we can also see that the RSI is still on a high level. So yes, it's a beautiful bounce that we have right now, but we are facing many hurdles on the upside, while we still had a big significant run on Ether. I'm not saying we're not going to break to the upside. It's still very likely, or a chance that it could be happening, and it's still we're still living in a perspective where a 3K Ethereum is still relatively cheap compared to what the future value could be for this one. But on the short term, we are facing a big resistance as we just cracked one. So in that perspective, if we reject around 32 to 33 again, and we have a heavier correction, the chances of going towards 26 are still valuable as a potential long entry or potential scenario. So what level am I watching right now on Ethereum? Well, of course, I'm looking at what Ethereum is going to do on the upside, whether we crack this entire resistance here at 32.5, if this trend continues. If we do not, if we reject, then towards the 3K zone, as that most likely will get a test, and if we are going to make a lower high afterwards. Because if that is going to happen, we could see a trigger towards further downwards momentum. So I'm very much interested in the reaction around 32.5. I'm also interested to see how Ethereum is going to react after that towards the support if we reject. So when we get towards Bitcoin, we get towards the same stage, meaning that I've made this scenario here in which I was arguably looking for the lower high to be happening, which didn't happen, meaning that we're still facing resistances here. We're still facing 45 high as a resistance, and we're still facing 47 to 48.5 as the next one. 48 to 49.5 is the next one. This is still the next resistance zone that we have to crack through, and we could be making a fake out on the upside just like we have been making previously. So yes, we have made a big bounce to the upside, but you clearly, and I'll just make a new line here, you clearly want to see Bitcoin sustain and flip 44.8 to 45k as support, because if this level fails to hold support, we are going to have a copy paste of this structure, and then we are looking at a test around 43.2 and potentially have a lower high just like I've made here. But we've held support, continued to make the strength, we've continued the strength, through which right now the critical level that we have to hold is 45k. And if that doesn't hold, then I'm assuming that we're going to have a further corrective move, and then I'm assuming we are potentially getting to the top of this big first impulse move. And given the fact that the resistance up here are 47 to 48 to 49.5, the chances of us going towards 37k are getting slim, are getting lower, but a chance that we're going to have a higher low anywhere in this range is still there. So I think if you're looking for swing trades, then you're still not getting an entry at this point, and you're still looking for that confirmation to be happening, as based on this structure, Bitcoin shouldn't be dropping below 38k at all. So when you look at altcoins, you can see that some of them are breaking up heavily. I've discussed Orion when it came towards those lows, and I said Orion is most likely bottomed out, which did happen, and at this stage we can see that we've had a pretty nice substantial upwards run. Actually, if you're looking in a trade on this one, we've reached take profit levels here, as we are approaching the same significant resistance zone as we did previously. So what should you be looking at with Orion, for instance? Well, you're looking at an entry point, but overall it shows you that when nobody is interested in altcoins, you should be taking the entry, because if you're looking at any of the entry in this range, the lowest risk is given, but it's also easier for you to stay in the position or take profits and accumulate again. Especially when you see the structure here, it breaks out, makes a few small retests before it continues to move. What we are doing right now, most likely we are somewhere in this structure in which a retest around this region and potentially even $5 are still chances where you could be looking into longs at this point, because we've just witnessed a run of 200% on Orion, through which it's definitely not an point of interest. Are you looking for shorts? Of course not. You're not looking for shorts until you get clear confirmation on Bitcoin or Ethereum, and there you could be shorting altcoins. But somewhere in this region, we potentially look for some. In this region, you're looking for longs. If it's here, you're not looking at anything at all if you don't have any position yet. So I hope you have enjoyed my update. I'll be back tomorrow morning with a fresh one. Enjoy your evening.